Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of FIC or FFI Know. I'm your host, Andrea Lyons. I'm the CEO of All About Presentation. We are an events company that's been around since 2007. Over the course of that time, we've grown into a multi-million-dollar business, and I am utterly convinced that for every dollar we've made just as many mistakes. So I'm living proof that if I can do it, you can do it. So trust me, whatever your goal is or whatever your dream is, it can be done. So the premise of the show is I'm going to start with something fun, and then I'm going to set my timer. Where is my timer? Oh, there it is. So I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to answer as many questions as I can in that 10-minute time period. Okay. So if you do have questions, you can always email me your questions. I think our producer checks them every week, I believe. And so if you have questions or thoughts or comments, please feel free to check them. I check the emails too. So, but I know she checks it every week right before the show. So if you have those, let me know. And as always, be sure to keep up with us online at All About Presentation on most platforms. And if you like what you see, be sure to share it with your friends. Okay. So let's get started with a fun thing. Okay, so you all know that I am a Zoom lover / Google Meet / WebEx / all of those things, only because we are quarantined. Because I am an extreme extrovert. So if I had to pick, I would much rather be around people. But at least I get something when we have these virtual meetings. But one of the things I found, and you tell me if it's true for you as well, I snack a lot more. It's almost like TV or being around people like while you're watching a movie, and it's like I snack a lot more. So I've been kind of looking at like some trashy snack food. None of what I'm going to tell you is healthy. But guess what I found? You tell me if you've seen that. Okay. If you are a flaming hot fan, like a flaming Cheetos, flaming whatever, if you like hot, spicy foods, guess what they make? I'm late to the party, I think. But I don't normally buy chips. Look at this. There is an entire Frito-Lay bag of a flaming hot mix. It has flaming hot Cheetos, flaming hot Doritos, flaming hot Chester fries, flaming hot Cheeto puffs. And have you ever had this? Flaming hot Fritos. I was so excited when I found this. I brought it to work and I told everybody at work because if nothing else, I am an evangelist. If I find something and I like it, I tell everybody about it in the first 10 seconds. So if you like flaming hot stuff like that, then get you one yellow bag Frito-Lay mix. It'll change your life. Well, you'll also eat a lot more of them. All right. So, the clock's ready. Clock is ready. Let's see. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're going to do 10 minutes and then we're going to ask the first question. All right, here we go. What are some considerations people need to have when transitioning back to in-person events? Oh, by the way, the producer Wissam would shoot me if I didn't say the topic of today's conversation is transformational leadership, specifically inspired by President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. So we thought, what a great relevant title, transitional leadership. So the question is, what are some considerations people have or people need to have when transitioning back to in-person events? There's a couple. One, safety first, right? That should always be the consideration. But at this time, I think you need to have a specific focus on safety, not just actual safety, but also perceived safety as well. So what do I mean by that? So actual safety is that we just did an in-person event and in between guests, we sanitized all the chairs in between folks. Of course, we don't have anything where you could touch anyone. Everything is touchless. Registration is checked touchless with the scanning of a barcode to another computer. Everything is touchless. So then that way people don't have to worry about anything. And then also a big important note is that as we wipe down tables, as we sanitize chairs for people that are sitting in rooms, we also have these HEPA ventilator systems that we put in rooms, especially if it's an enclosed room like a ballroom. It's kind of big too. It's not like small. It's quiet as a mouse. But we'll put them in all the rooms just so people have a sense that the air is being filtered while they're sitting in there, because air does not move while they're in there. We don't close any doors either. That's one big thing we've learned. These are little touches. We don't close any doors to ballrooms. And there's a number of things that we go through on our checklist, from registration to the meeting room to the AV equipment. Nobody touches anything. All the camera things are remote. The microphone person, we're having them use like a boom mic system. So even the microphone isn't close to people. It's not like a handheld at this point. We're asking people to avoid anything where they have to touch it, handheld anything at this point. And I'm sure that'll change in the future. But I just wanted to let you know it takes a lot more people to make that work. But the perceived part is we do it in front of people. So we show them that all of these things are happening. Does it slow down the program? I mean, in normal times, you would never show the guest how the sausage is being made. We would never, they would come into a clean, sanitized room, right? This is a time when we actually like make a big show of it. We actually like say, this room isn't available until it's been sanitized and that sort of thing. So it does slow down our programming a bit for in-person events. But I also think it's important that people see that we mean business when we're talking about their safety. So that's a big thing to consider. And with that goes additional people, right? Like it's not, we usually run a fairly right-sized crew for a particular job, but now we found ourselves having to increase the amount of labor that's required to support the event, especially for anything that's in person, as a mere fact of just how many more steps we have to go through to get through the event schedule. Just all these safety steps that we go through. It takes people to do that. So anyway, I'll go to the next one. How can we prepare our event hosts? Transitional leadership. How can we prepare our event hosts to be more engaging and interactive? Okay, well, one, don't get anybody boring to be a host. That's the first thing. You need somebody with personality plus that if the cameras weren't on, they would be entertaining to be around. Those are usually the start of a great host. You also want to make sure that the hosts are super uber well prepared. Both from we no longer have to do just a rehearsal. Like a lot of times with our hosts, we do rehearsals on site and that sort of thing, maybe do one table read if we have to. Now it's like multiple table reads. We ship backup equipment for the virtual events to hosts if we need to. Just because, especially if we kind of get a sense while we're on some of the rehearsal times with them, like, their sound is a little bit not great, or the lighting in there is a little bit questionable. We just go ahead and send them the equipment. And if we need to and / have to, we also send them a person to set up the equipment. The goal is for any event host, which is it's such a heavy lift, for an event, you want the host to be as great as possible and you want them to be as comfortable as possible. So we have done things over and above to make the host feel comfortable and confident. So table reads. So I kind of recap table reads, more of them. In the table reads, we determine what do they sound like? What do they look like? Do we need to send them equipment? We just send it to them and we say, what's your address? We're sending you equipment. If they say, oh, I'm not good at this type of stuff, we send a person. I don't care where they are. We are on the East Coast. If they are in Sacramento, California, I get somebody to go and set up their equipment in a very safe manner, but I will make sure that they have their equipment. And then the other person part of it is that they are naturally sort of engaging people. Okay. Even more so when you're on camera. People kind of tolerate more things in person. But man, if I have the opportunity to walk away and you don't even see me walk away, stop camera and I walk away because I'm bored. That's why you really want to have like a really energetic person and someone who's really tuned in. Next question. Oh, wait, that was this last question. Okay. So next question. What will in-person events look like in the future, and especially in terms of the connections people can foster? One, I think coronavirus has put an end to business cards. Eek gats. I know I'm saying something crazy, but there are a whole lot of more options to be able to connect with people that have nothing to do with a little slip of paper. Now, mind you, I'm a lover of business cards. I do Moo. You guys do Moo because it's great quality, and they like Printfinity, where you can print a different image on every card. And so we've used it as kind of like a mobile portfolio for quite some time. So we love our business cards from Moo, but you don't need them. If the pandemic has proven anything else, it's that. So connecting in the future will be electronic and it'll be fast, right? So anybody, if you're connecting at an event in person, follow up. I know there used to be these rules about like follow up the same day or connect with them on LinkedIn and that sort of thing. It's almost instantaneous. Like now, when you go back to in-person events, just keep in mind those connections need to happen instantaneous. So if you go back to having, let's say, a vendor booth, and you would meet a bunch of people and you're like, cool, when I get back, I'll sort through the list and yada, yada, yada. I would say that's probably not a great strategy going forward. There's a lot quicker way to sort that data, get the data that you want from it so that you know it instantaneously. Okay. So that's what I would say for that one. Last question ish. Nope. I could probably do two if I go fast. Let's see. I'll do this one. This one's hard. What kind of goals should I be setting as I start to think about the event I am holding and how that affects whether it should be virtual, in person, or hybrid? Yeah, this is going to be the last question. Okay, what kind of goals should I be setting as I start to think about the event I'm holding and how that affects whether it should be virtual, in person, or hybrid? Okay. So the goals of your event shouldn't change no matter what the format is. So why do I say that? If the goal of your event is to raise X amount of dollars, to inspire people to take action, right? Inspire people to take action, to educate your sales team on a new product line and how to get them to sell it. That goal should be the same no matter how it gets delivered, right? So the goal itself shouldn't change. What you should think about is what can you do? What activities can you do with regard to virtual, in person, or hybrid? Okay. So let's take like a sales meeting, like a national sales meeting or a sales meeting, workshop, whatever you have. A lot of times in those meetings, there's a lot of role play that happens, right? Well, role play is not good in a chat unless you're doing chat sales, right? So you would need something where everybody can see the interaction of our role playing participants. Okay. Now, the cool thing is that's easy to do in person. However, if it's a large meeting, you got to have cameras on these people so you can see facial reactions and that sort of thing. If it is virtual, you don't need these multiple cameras to be able to watch a role playing session. Okay. What is difficult in a hybrid format, which is when it's both in person and virtual, if you were doing role playing, is, and this is what a lot of our customers and clients are struggling with now, is how do they make sure that the people in online get equal access to whatever is happening on the stage, right? So, and that takes a phenomenal moderator / host, a really good host, to be able to go back and forth between the in-person audience and the audience that's online. Okay. And that's a big one. That's a really big obstacle to get over too. It's not as little as it thinks. You would think it's an easy thing to do. I think it's a little bit tricky because the people in front of you are the ones that are looking at you like, hey, we're right here. And you don't really have your online crew in front of you unless, we've seen people do things like put them on large screens, on the stage, so you do the Zoom grid or the WebEx grid on a large screen that's also on stage. And so that hopefully the way that AV is set up, the people that are on Zoom could see the audience and the audience can see the Zoom people. But still, it can be very, very tricky to manage both of those things that are happening simultaneously. So I would say, what are you trying to accomplish? Or the goal should be the same. To answer the question, the goal should be the same. The activities that you do may have to vary in how you do them, whether it's virtual, in person, or hybrid. All right, I'm over time. Again, one of these times, I promise you, I am going to get it in the time frame that we have. I know I am. I'm gonna do it. Have faith in me. All right, so we have a bunch of questions more and things that we're supposed to cover and we don't. I just need to get it together, or maybe extend the time. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Give me a holla, a shout, an email at andrea@aap.events. Also, don't forget flaming. Wait, here we go. Look at this. You got to get you one. All right. It's all the hots, all the hot things. It could be like Flaming Hot Friday. Oh, that's fun. That's a fun thing to have. So get you one. They're sold everywhere. I just am late, so late to the party. I've just never seen that before. I also don't buy chips that much. So let's just be real. I don't buy, I only bought chips since like the pandemic. So all right, everybody, have a great week. I hope you're doing well. What an exciting time we live in, right? Remember to take deep breaths every day. And remember, do not let the horses or the cart get in front of the horses. All right, don't let the cart get in front of the horses. You have plenty of time to do what you need to do. Take a moment, relax, take a break. You'll get everything you need done if you just take a break and take a deep breath. You'll get it all done, I promise. All right. If I can do it, you can do it. See you here. I think, what are we here? Every week, every Wednesday at 2:00. I'll see you soon. Have a great week.